Today on You CNC, we're machining this meteorite. I've got 3 attempts to dial in the bits, speeds and feeds, and work holding, and ultimately find out if this material can even be machined into something useful. Did you know you could buy meteorites on Etsy? Now you do. Let's open this bad boy up and see what we've got. I actually got 2 pieces here. I got the small little guy. I got this big guy. And not cheap, not cheap. I paid $300 for this 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter cube. I have 3 attempts to figure this out, and we'll see. So for the first one, for this work holding on this small little piece, I want to dial in the speeds and feeds and settings because it's unlike anything that I've ran before. It's super tiny, so clamps aren't an option. Double-sided tape could work, but I'm going to go back to the CA glue and blue tape trick here. If you are a machinist and you're watching this, oh, that's definitely not going to work. I think there's some oil or something on this. I was going to say if you're a machinist and watching this, I know this is not how you do it. Okay. All right, so I cleaned this with some alcohol just to get all the oil off from it. That should help it stick much, much better. All right, we're gonna start out using a 1/8" upcut bit. Attempt number 1, go. Yeah. My gut, thank you, gut. My gut was right. I don't know how right, but it was a success. The bit didn't break. We got a clean carve, like really clean. Like it's really sharp. I'm not claiming to be an expert, like I got it right, because bit wear is a real thing. Like, oh, you carved 1 hole, Andy. Good job. But we're not out of the woods yet. So let's move on to attempt number 2. For this attempt, we still have the small meteorite, and I want to take it a little bit further. So we're still going to use that 1/8" bit, and we're going to machine the outside perimeter so we can really see the machine marks, how it's machining, how clean of a cut it is, all those things. So we're going to do that to full depth, not at once, but we are going to go to full depth. Second of all, what I want to try is I'm going to switch out that 1/8" upcut bit for a 90-degree V bit where I want to try to chamfer that top edge. Again, don't know if it's going to work. Let's find out. I did play around with air assist a little bit. I tried a little bit without air assist just to see. And I think the slot that the facing, I think, that we're doing here allows those metal chips to get out rather than a pocket where they sit in it or a slot where they'll sit in. So, but I'm really excited about how clean this is. We'll get that off afterwards. The next step is to use this 90-degree V-bit, engraving bit, but we're going to use it to chamfer this top edge and to see if we can get the sharpness away. Just put a nice chamfer on it. So that's the next test. One thing I want to point out too, I didn't blow away these chips. These are the metal shavings that we're getting. So really, I'm impressed with that. Again, we're getting some nice chips. No idea what I'm doing, but it's working, I think. You know what? I've built a community for this exact reason. I meet with about 50 CNCers every week. It's called the CNC Moneymaker, and we'd love to have you join. Link in the description. Yeah, that's surprising. Wow. So it is like, if you come in close here, I can move this. Look at that. It just didn't break loose. That's what I was seeing. I was seeing it flex, but that's okay. It held it tight. I wanted to see if we could chamfer it, and we did. And if our work holding was absolutely solid, we would have even got better results. Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? So as this warmed up, the tape got a little more flimsy. That's what was happening, because I can feel a little bit of heat from machining, and we're using adhesive, and when adhesive gets hot, it starts to flex. So that's what was happening with the work holding. You look at like this machined edge right here, you can't see the pattern. And I know it's a really fine sample, but you can't see the pattern like you can up here once it's machined or cut. Now, you could re-acid and etch it and bring that pattern back out, but that's something to keep in mind. This was great. I think we learned a lot here of what we can do, our speeds and feeds, work holding, machine, different bit types. I think it's time to move on to attempt number 3. So the specific pattern in this meteorite is called it's a German word. It's called like Widmanstuten. Don't quote me on that. If you're a meteorologist, that's actually, that's a weather. So Widmanstuten. So this pattern right here of all these different layers is kind of a lattice pattern going together. In my research, the reason why this one is well known as meteorite is because this formation can't be reproduced on Earth. I didn't want someone to say, that's not a real meteorite, that's just a rock from your backyard. So I went all out and I got something that could only be created with the pressures and temperatures in space. We're going to machine this into a dice. The first challenge is we got to get this vise set up square to the machine. So we're going to do that now. And when we're, machining any of this, if it's tilted, twisted any way, it's going to show up. So we got to get everything perfectly square. Let's do that first. We're ready to hit go, I think. This is risky though. Do you remember how much I said this cost? It's $300 on here right now, and I don't want to ruin it. I actually want to make something functional. A couple things that are going to be really difficult to keep track of is which way do we flip it, which way do we turn it to put the correct number of pips on the side of the dice. I think we've figured out how to repeat this. We've got everything lined up, and it should just be a matter of loosening the vise, flip it, do the next one, that type of things. But a lot can go wrong. A lot can go wrong when you're re-registering and resetting up every single time. And hopefully, we'll see how it goes. Just finished up side number 2 with the 2 pips, and I'm just not happy with how this is machining. I think we can do better. I think we're in the ballpark, but we're not. We can do better. The only thing, you can only control one number, the length of your ramp in. And since we're using a raster toolpath, and since we're starting in the middle, you think about how small that circle is. So it's ramping in a very tight circle, and it's basically drilling straight down, and doesn't sound good. It's not good for the bit. Bits are meant to cut. The difference between, let's say, a drill bit and a CNC router bit is that these are meant to cut while moving laterally. So I need more lateral movement, and so I'm going to switch to a profile toolpath, and I'm still going to ramp in, and I'm going to see if that gets us a better result. And I'm afraid we're going to burn this bit up really quickly if I don't switch. So let's see what happens. All right, there we go. Let's head over to the workbench and see what we've got. After a day of machining this meteorite, it begs the question, does it CNC? Can you CNC meteorite? Yes, just like that. It's a yes, but with a question mark, because it takes a very specific setup to machine metal. And this is basically iron and nickel, mostly iron, some nickel. And I learned a lot. The main struggles were feeds and speeds, what toolpath to use. When I got halfway through the pips here, I was not liking what I was seeing. And so you saw me make the change from a pocketing toolpath to a profile toolpath where I could control the ramping more with a profile toolpath. And that really, really helped. I don't think my upcut, my 1/8 inch upcut bit would have lasted through the entire thing if I would have kept that same toolpath strategy. Another issue we really struggled with was this meteorite is not perfectly square. And you may be like, Andy, well, why didn't you just square it? Why didn't you do some facing toolpaths to square this all up? Well, like I said earlier, if I would have done that, I would lose this pattern. If you want to see me take on other challenging materials, I've got them all in a playlist right here for you. Click right there, and I'll see you in the next one. We've got a $300 dice, a $300 meteorite dice. Who would have thought?